Okay, so a little bit of boring stats quickly. Data prices are going to fall off a cliff. So telecom, is anyone from telecom here? No, good. Okay, so clearly telecom sucks and it's causing a lot of problems for our internet adoption. There used to be a stat back in, it was 2004, where you could fly to Hong Kong, download a gigabyte of data, fly back for cheaper than downloading a gigabyte of data here. And that's no bullshit, right? So, and we're only a little bit of the way down the road there. So what's going to happen is wireless internet and wireless broadband is actually going to solve the problem, because until we privatize telecom, that's going to be a cluster mess. Right, so these costs are sunk, and so what you've got to understand is these mobile operators can essentially sell an extra megabit of data for very low marginal cost, close to zero. Okay, it's just pure profit at this point. What does this mean? This means data is going to become more accessible. It means the pent-up demand for smartphones is going to get greater. And the interesting point here is, I think for you guys to take away, is that it looks like we're going to see different contentions of data. So the rich people like Lauren from SAB there will pay a premium to get really fast internet, whereas guys like me who work for Lauren and don't earn much money, we will pay for a megabyte of data that's highly contended. There'll be loads and loads of people surfing that same megabyte for me. Now what that does is you can start selling megabytes for fractions of cents. Okay, so, and we're going to see this here. We kind of predict it's going to be very, very different in 2 years. Why am I telling you that? Because mobile data costs are seen as an impediment to internet in this country. And if you take that off the table, you'll start thinking about even greater possibilities. That's what I'm trying to get you to. Okay. Phone conversion cycles are about 24 months. This is an interesting fact that this even exists in the prepaid market. So what this says is that on average, everyone will buy a new phone in 24 months. Prepaid is about 87% of the market here. So even those people are buying new phones, which means this upgrade cycle to new phones is prevalent and it's happening, and we're seeing this, the on average conversion cycle towards the tail end of this 24 months. What do I mean by that? We're going to see a massive adoption, literally overnight, because by the time we see the stats, it'll be too late. The statistics are like, let me not get pejorative, they're just problematic by the time we get them too late. So we're going to see a massive adoption of smartphones. I'm not talking BlackBerry because it's not a smartphone. I'm talking Android, and I'm talking iPhone. Okay. And then you have a real internet experience. Okay. The other pushback on that is, well, you know, literacy is a barrier. Well, if anybody has a child that is 1 year old or 2 years old, you'll see that they can interact with an iPad without understanding language. Literacy is not an issue. That's a user experience problem. Okay, cool. So we won't get bogged into that. So these smartphones are coming. In fact, Safaricom in Kenya does not supply feature phones anymore. It only supplies smartphones. There are no feature phones there. All smartphones, all Android and iOS and BlackBerry, so also semi-smartphones. Radio is no longer just passive, although that's one of its strengths. It's no longer one way. It can be augmented and we can convert. We can actually make money and we can measure that. Think about it. It's totally possible, and in fact it happens, but it's totally possible very shortly where we will give a call to action on the radio, a user will go online and can hit a campaign, can hit an embedded ad in Twitter, go to their page and buy a product. All driven by radio. So there's a direct response. There's a direct causation of revenue. I think about how powerful that could be for you. And I guess I tell you that there because you need to spend a lot of time working on your metrics. Because what's going to happen, I'll talk about it in a minute, is this TLS, this time live whatever thing, this measurement, that's going to die.